Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mustafa. Today I'm going to teach you how you can create a form in React and how you can get the value or the text that has been typed inside a form. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. And by the way guys, I have created a complete course on how to create a social network using React. And you can take that course and you will take your React skills to the next level. You'll find the link in the description below. So let's get started. Now in our project we have this user component, and inside that user component you can add a form to that user component. Let's add a new form here, form, and then inside that form we can have the input. And we can have many inputs, and I'm going to create here an input, and that input can have attributes such as the placeholder. Let's say here placeholder, and that placeholder can have something like, let's say, type something about yourself, and then I'm going to save and check that in the browser. Now in the browser you should find here a new, if you refresh, you should find here a new component or a new input. So as you can see here, we have a new input here that says type something about yourself. You can type something here inside that input. And now what we want to do is that we want to get the text that the user is going to type here about him or herself. So how can we do that? Well, we can use something called refs. In React, there's something called refs, which lets you create a reference to an input, and then using that reference you can get the value of that input. So for example, here for that input we can give it a reference, and that reference is going to be equal to a variable that you create. Let's create a variable called this. Let's create a variable called about yourself, and that variable must be created in the constructor of that class. So here we have this user component, we have this constructor. Inside that constructor you need to use this, and then the name of the variable, which is about yourself, and then you need to tell React, hey React, I want to make a reference called about yourself. So we want that variable to be a reference, not just a simple variable. We want it to be a special type of a reference of a variable called reference. We want it to be a reference to that input, so that whenever we want to use that input for any purpose, we can use that reference to access that input. So to do that in React, you just type here React, and then you call create reference, create ref. So this way you told React, hey React, we want this about yourself variable to be a reference to this input, and then you can access that input value by using that about yourself. So for example, if you want to access the value that the user is going to type here, we first need to create a button here, input, and that is going to have a type of submit, and then it's going to have a value of submit. And then let me save and show you that in the browser. In the browser you should find now a button here. As you can see here, we have a submit button, and then what we want to do is that we want to give that button a click event. We want to listen for clicks on that button. So I'm going to say here on click, and then if the user clicks on that button, we want to call a method. So I'm going to pass the method that I want to call, this dot button clicked, and then I'm going to create that method here, button clicked, and then it's going to be equal to an arrow function. And then we can simply use the alert to make sure that the button is working. I'm going to say here button clicked, and then I'm going to save. And now in the browser, let me refresh, and we have an error here. It should be, we should make sure that everything is correct. Let me again refresh, and now if I click on that button, as you can see, it's going to display this alert. But we want to display the text, that text that the user is going to type here. We want to display it inside that alert. How can we do that? How can we access the text? Very simple. Here in this button clicked, you can use this dot about yourself, and then dot current, and then dot value. That way you told React to get the value of that input, and then you can display it. You can copy it and display it inside here, inside that alert. Here, paste it, and then save. And now it's going to display the text that's inside that input, inside the alert. Let's now test that. Let's now refresh and test that. Let me now type here something. This is Mustafa, and then I'm going to click on submit. As you can see, it's going to display that text in the alert. So this is how you can get a text from an input and display it wherever you want, and get it to inside other methods and use it wherever you want. So hopefully this tutorial is useful, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And again, check the description below because I have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. And also, if you want to take your React skills to the next level, then make sure to take the course that I have created about how to create a social network using React. This is Most. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mustafa. Today I'm going to teach you how you can get a value from an input and update your state and display the value here in the HTML code instead of just using the alert. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video, and also check the description below because I have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. So let's get started. First of all, in order to get the value, we use the ref as before, but instead of using this button clicked, we want to update the state. We want to create a value or a variable in the state called comma, and then about yourself, and it's going to be empty. Initially it's going to be empty, and we want to get that value and display it here above that form. I'm going to create a new h2, and then I'm going to use this dot state dot about yourself. And obviously it's going to display, if I save now, it's going to display nothing because we have this about yourself empty. It's empty, as you can see in the state, it's empty. So we want to fill this about yourself with something. Let me first show you in the browser. As you can see, there is nothing. Let's fill this with something. But before we fill it with something, let me just show you if you set a default value. Let's here say this is about yourself. About yourself. And if I save, it's going to display this is.
So now, as you can see, it's displaying this is about yourself. Now what we want to do is that we want to update the value of this about yourself according to the value that the user is going to type here, according to the text. So whenever a user types something here and then clicks on submit, we want to update this text. How can we do that? Well, remember here, after the user clicks on this button, we are going to be calling button clicked method. So once we call this button clicked, we want to update the value of the about yourself. We want to update this value. We want to update this property. So inside that button clicked, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to use this .set state, which is a method that's given by React, and it's gonna let you update any property that's inside that state, any property you want. So we want to set state, and then we pass here the property that we want to update. So what we want to update is that we want to update the about yourself property, and then you can update it with whatever text you want, whatever value you want. So we want to update it with this. So I'm going to copy this. And paste it here, and I'm going to remove this alert. We no longer need this alert. Let me now save and head on over to the browser to test and see what's going to happen. If I refresh, let's see what's going to happen. Now initially the value is going to be here. This is about yourself. And if I type something here, I am an entrepreneur, and then I'm going to click on submit, and as you can see, it changed the value, but it went back to this is about yourself. Why? Because actually whenever you use a form, you need to pass the event here. You need to pass the event, and then you need to call here e.prevent default, because if you don't use this this prevent default, if you don't call it, it's gonna reload the page and it's gonna set the old value again. So make sure that you use e and then prevent event whenever you use a form. Let me now save and test again. Now let me refresh, and then I'm gonna type a new text. Hi, I'm an entrepreneur, and then I'm going to click on submit, and as you can see, it has changed the text. The text now is changed, and it will remain, it will store the new text, and the old value, the old default value has been changed. And you can even change it whenever you want. So you can say here, hi, I am a React dev, and then click submit. As you can see, hi, I'm a React dev. So this is how you can use forms in React, and this is how you can update a state using a form in React. So if you have any questions about this tutorial or other tutorials, leave them in the comment section below. Also, if you have any comments, you can leave them in the comment section below. And also check the description below, because I have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. This is Mustafa. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Mustafa. Today I'm going to teach you how you can use buttons in React in order to change the color text. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video. And also check the description below, because I have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. So let's get started. First of all, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create two buttons. One button to change the color of that text to be red, and the other button to change the color to be blue. So if the user clicks on the red color, it's going to change this color of this text to be red, and if the user clicks on the blue button, it's going to change the color of that text to be blue. So the first thing that we need to do, obviously, is that we need two buttons. Here I'm going to create button, and then that button is going to say red, and another button here, button, and that button is going to say blue. And let's save and see that in the browser. Now in the browser, if you refresh, you'll find that we have two buttons. but let's add some CSS attributes to these buttons. So for this button, I'm going to say style, and then the style is going to be equal to, let's say, background color, and it's going to be red. And for the for here, it should be object and comma, and then the color itself, color of that button, of that text, is going to be, say, white, and then I'm going to do the same with the blue button. I'm going to copy the complete style and paste it in the other button, and here it's going to be blue. And also let's give it some margin, and let's give it a margin of 5, and here also margin of 5. And let's save and head on over to the browser to see the difference. So as you can see, we have now two buttons, red and blue. So we want to add event listeners to these two buttons, and to do that we use the onClick. So I'm gonna here use the onClick, and then here this is gonna call a method, and this onClick is also going to call the same method, but it's gonna pass a different color. So here, in order to call a method, all we need to do is that we need to pass here an arrow function, and also in the other button we pass an arrow function, and then inside that arrow function we call the method that we want. This dot change color, and then we pass here the color that we want. Let's pass here red, and here in the second one we pass this dot change color, and then I'm gonna pass blue, and then we can create that method. Here we can create that method change color, and it's gonna be equal to an arrow function, and it takes the color here as a parameter, color, and then we need to check that color value. If that color is equal to red, then we want to set a value in the state here called color or text color, and it's gonna be initially by default it's gonna be black, and then here if the color is red, obviously we want to use this dot set state, and then we change the color, the text color, to be red, or to be the color here. You can pass the color here without even if statement. You can immediately pass the color. So if you remove the if statement, it's gonna work. If you remove that and only pass the color, it's gonna work, by the way, because we already here, remember, we already passed the color red and blue, so there is no need for if statement. You can use if statement if you pass here a variable, not a text. So let's test now with this. But obviously we need here to for this h2 we need to pass the color here inside that style of that h2. So here style is going to be equal to color, and then the color is going to be equal to the this dot state dot text color, and initially it's going to be black. Let's save and head on over to the browser to test. So here, as you can see, it's initially black. Now if I click on this red, as you can see, the color has now changed to be to red. If I click on blue, it changed the color to the blue color. And as you can see, it worked. And if you don't want to pass the color text like this, if you don't want to pass red and blue, you can pass the event E, and also here E, and then here you can also pass the E, and here you can also pass the event, and then using that event you can access the information about that button. And remember here this button has a text, has a blue word with a capital B, and the other one red with a capital R. So we can access the event in that change color. Instead of color, I'm going to pass here E, event, and then we can check that event if e.target.inner HTML, if that is equal to red with a capital R, then what we want to do is that we want to set the state, this.set state, and then we want to set the text color here, text color to be red with a small r, and then else if, you can add even here else if the e.target.inner HTML is equal to blue with a capital B, we want to set the state here, text color, and then blue here, blue. And you can even have here else you can just leave this .set state with a default color, text color, and then it's gonna be black. And we are done. Let me now save and head on over to the browser. And now in the browser, let me refresh. And now if I click on red, it's gonna work. Red, it changed the color to be red, and also the blue, it changed the color to be blue. So this is how you can use buttons to change the CSS style of a specific element in React. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Also check the description below because I have created a free ebook on how to make money online coding. This is Mustafa. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.